Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
After a long time in the making, after such a long wait, we are finally here with the biggest superhero return there is. OKKO. Yeah, no, I was trying to make a joke there about Endgame having come out and everything, but I don't know if it worked. Probably not, knowing me. But in all seriousness, yeah, we are back with OKKO. It's been a little while. Um, we had done OKKO and Loud House together for a while, but I decided to kind of split them up and everything. We finished season one of Loud House, or season two of Loud House, rather. So now we're back with OKKO. Last time we did this was, I think, the middle of March, so it hasn't been too long, but I don't remember what the last episodes we watched were. I think it might have been the set with Captain Planet in it. I think it might have been that set, but I'm not 100%. Either way, we are back, and I'm excited for more of this, because this show, while not perfect or anything, has definitely proven itself to be pretty damn good. Yeah, and it definitely has its high moments for sure. Has its great characters such as Shannon, just everything about Shannon. um, but in all seriousness, yeah, it's just a really fun show. It's a fun, friendly, nice superhero series that it's a lot different from a lot of superhero shows out there. Like, I mean, going with other stuff I'm reacting to, Young Justice Outsiders, which really prides itself on being a very serious, very, in a lot of cases with this current season, topical show. It's Young Justice Outsiders is more of the classic superhero stuff, while OKKO is more of the modern superhero-inspired comedy. And despite it not being like a straight, strict superhero show in the same style, it shows that it's willing to give us likable characters, emotional payoffs to some good build-ups, some really funny scenarios, and some legitimately really in-depth story points that I really, really can't wait to see what they do with in the future. But yeah, I am excited for more. I definitely want to see more of my favorite characters, like Dendy, Shannon, and Carol. I want to learn more about the past events with Carol and Mr. Gar, because we've seen a little bit of that now, but we don't know all the details still. And I just want to have more fun shenanigans. Even in some of the episodes that seem like they're kind of out of nowhere and doing nothing, a lot of them can a lot of times just really impress. Now, I do want to mention this. I did post an update earlier as well regarding it, but I do want to mention it here as well. We had a bit of a schedule change going on with the channel that just started today and everything. So OKKO is now sharing Tuesdays with Young Justice Outsiders. Now, we already did Young Justice this week, so we're not going to do another episode. But yeah, that's what's for Tuesdays now. And I was thinking, like, once I either finish Young Justice or get fully caught up with OKKO's, like, finished first season, or, whatever, I will bring Tuesdays back down to one show whenever one of those things happens. And speaking of, I did move One Punch Man from Tuesday to Mondays now as well. So Mondays is now basically the currently airing anime stuff, Carol and Tuesday and One Punch Man. Which I think just works out really well, because it's a 2-for-1 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Each one's with a theme. Monday is currently airing anime stuff, Wednesday is the poll stuff, and Friday is donation rewards. And yes, Tuesday does have 2 shows, and so does Saturday. And honestly, Saturday is also currently airing stuff with both JoJo and MLP. But Saturday's also a special case where it's like those 2 shows pretty much have to be on Saturday. And Tuesday, again, I'll probably end up cutting it down at some point. But either way, back on topic. We are back here with OKKO, and like I said, I'm excited. I don't know exactly where this is going to lead. There's a lot of plot points that have started to build up, but haven't gotten fully explained yet, and I really hope they do, and I do believe they will. There are a few things I know about that are coming in the future as well. Um, but I'm still kind of like keeping low on those for now. But I do know of a couple things that are coming. I just don't know exactly when. Because I've heard things here and there, you know. Um, I'm interested to see exactly what they do. Let's just leave it at that. And let's get going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so this was probably the best possible set of episodes to come back on. All three of these episodes were phenomenal. Like, no joke, some of the best episodes of the show. But let's go through them. So the first episode we had here is, I might mess up on these names, but it's something along the lines of We Got Hacked. So the bodega gets hacked, and, well, not like in the typical sense. Their mop goes out of control, and Dendy comes in to try and fix it. But KO kind of presses a pop-up ad on Dendy's computer screen interface thing, and it causes an infection in the mop, which then spreads to everything else, and including other people. And eventually it becomes very horror movie-like, to where KO and Dendy are being chased through the store and everything, and it's really good. Now, I mentioned during the reaction that this is how you do differentiating art styles right, and I want to talk more about that right here. I compared it to Gumball. So as you know, The Amazing World of Gumball is pretty known for having very differentiating art styles among its characters. Like, all of these different characters, a lot of them are done in different art styles, different forms and whatnot, and they, in my opinion, they've always come across as very jarring. It doesn't mesh well, and it makes it seem very disconnected. None of the characters really seem like they're part of the same world. And, like, because of that, it just feels so off. And it's one of the reasons I really could not get into Gumball. By comparison, this felt isolated, and that's important. By having the differentiating art style here with the glitched out denizens of the plaza having this different art style, it made it feel isolated in a way to where it was special. It felt natural in its execution. Because of the context of the episode with this glitching virus, computer virus, infecting everyone, it felt more natural to have them in this more 3D, very blocky style. It felt very creative, even, to do that. The episode itself had some weird audio things going on, though, I will say that. But, like, that specific part of it with the character models changing and everything, the art styles changing for the infected people, like, that was actually really good. I really liked that. That is how you do the differentiating art styles right, and make it feel natural. The episode, the plot of it all was also pretty fun and interesting, and it's always good to see Dendy. But moving on. So the second episode involves a parents' day at the plaza. All these people who live and work at the plaza bring in their parents and just, have fun. We get to meet Rad's parents, who are kind of nerdy and goofy, kind of like how Rad used to be. But of course, we know Rad is kind of putting on this front of being this cool, strong dude. Um, and it's fun to see like his kind of his origin in a way again brought through with his parents this time. Plus, it's cool to actually meet his parents. Um, but then of we bring up the question of Enid's parents because they're not there, and Enid, when they bring it up, kind of avoids things and like fucks on off. So they decide to follow her. They follow her to her home, and they find out she lives in this really spooky looking, pretty nice looking house, all things considered. Like apart from all the spookiness surrounding it, it's actually a pretty nice large house. Um, and we finally get to meet Enid's parents as well. And Enid's parents are monsters. Her mother is a vampire and her father's a werewolf. And she herself is not. Enid is not like she's not a vampire, she's not a werewolf, she's not a combination of the two. So it's interesting that those didn't get passed down. I guess you could consider both lycanthropy and vampirism as diseases in a way. So I guess it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't be passed down, but I mean, I've seen lore for both vampires and werewolves where they do get passed down and lore where they don't. So it's kind of up in the air, but in this one, they just don't, I guess. um, Around the house, we see that Enid also wears a witch costume, um, and it's really cute. It's a really cute costume for her. Um, but so Rad and KO kind of bust in and everything. They kind of like sneak up and kind of get involved. And so we find out that Enid's parents are a little overbearing, but not to an unhealthy degree and not to a degree that really leaves a negative impact on Enid. She's just embarrassed by them. They're actually really nice and welcoming and funny and goofy and very clearly in love. Like they are very much in love with each other, which is always good to see. I always love seeing couples that are just really enamored with each other still. That's always great. Um, and so we see that Enid, yes, is embarrassed by them, but that doesn't mean she doesn't love them. We also find out that apparently they do have like literal skeletons in the closet and ghosts in their basement and stuff. And the ghosts actually take a part to play in this episode. They end up possessing KO and Rad's bodies, and Enid has to work with her parents and who I assume are her siblings, but I'm not actually sure. They might just be other monsters that live there, like kind of like the ghosts. um, and she has to work with her parents to stop them. Now, her parents are kind of a little underwhelmed by the fact that she's been trying to be a ninja, because it's like, this is a spooky household. You have to be spooky. Ninjas aren't spooky. But in the end, after she shows off a really cool looking ninja arts, they accept her a lot more. And that alone is very cute and nice and everything. And it's really nice to see. The episode just ended up, yeah, like I said, kind of at the end of that part of the reaction, just ended up being really cute. It was just really cute and nice and fun, and I just really liked it. It gave some development and depth to Enid, which I definitely think was needed, um, as well as just made things feel a lot more interesting in this world. Um, and this is definitely a world where, again, bringing it kind of back to the comparison with Gumball, this is a world where many different kinds of characters exist. I mean, you have a magic talking skeleton. You have who I refer to him as his boyfriend. because let's be honest, there's very heavy hints that they're a couple. But you have the bear dude, whose name I cannot actually remember at the moment. You have humans like Carol and KO and Gar and all of that. You have an alien with Rad. It's like there's so many different kinds of characters. And they just all mesh in this world together. They feel a lot more natural in their inclusion in a way that Gumball just doesn't do. Gumball just, again, makes it feel so unnatural with all of the different kinds of characters and I guess you could call them races or species or whatever. Um, with Gumball, it just feels like it just feels so unnatural and weird. And yet KO just makes it feel so natural, and I don't understand how it's doing it to such a different degree. But I really, really like it. Um, and then we had our third episode, which kind of got to one of the things I did know about this. So apparently, from what I have heard and everything and what I've been told, Enid is actually bi. And this episode heavily implied that she had a crush on Red Action. And even kind of implied that Red Action had a crush on her, too. Now, I don't know for sure. Like, I don't know, like, if the creators have stated that she's bi or whatnot. But this is something I have heard, like, even before I started the show, before I started reacting to it, I have heard people, like, saying that. Like, not as in, like, oh, we just headcanon it. No, I've heard people saying it as if it was just a fact of the show. And here's the thing. As I've stated before, this show is created by Ian James Quarterly, who worked on Steven Universe and is very known for being a supporter of the LGBT community. So it's very believable that they would have that kind of representation. I mentioned this again back, I believe, when I was talking about Magic Skeleton and Brandon, I want to say. Trying to think of his name. I think it's Brandon or something like that. Something very ordinary. But I talked about them in a previous episode reaction, and again, it's completely believable. So the idea here that Enid and Red Action had a bit of a crush for each other, I completely believe it. And honestly, I think it's really cute. Like, we haven't seen a lot of Red Action before, but this episode definitely built upon her character and gave her a lot more depth and made her actually really likable. Let's be honest. Um, but yeah, the way that they looked at each other, like there's one part especially when they're, I believe when they're running from the, well, driving away, trying to escape from Red Action's former team. And Enid kind of looks at Red Action while they're in the tank and all, and you see this kind of like really like glorified viewpoint of her, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's pretty damn obvious. It's like Enid likes her. That is very obvious, I feel. Plus, I mean, they were blushing at each other throughout the entire episode, so um, I think it's pretty clear. And I think I mentioned back when Elodie was introduced and stuff. I think I mentioned that there was a little bit to that too, a little possibility to that. So I can definitely support this. And honestly, I think I ship it. If I'm being honest, I actually think I like the idea of these two together. They really play off of each other really well, and I think that they just really work as a couple. Now, I don't know if it's ever going to take it that far. I don't know if this show really goes into that. But I really hope it does. Even if it's not with Enid and Red Action specifically, I do hope that this show goes more explicitly into LGBTQ plus relationships. That would just be really, really cool to see. Um, but yeah, these three episodes. First off, let's actually talk about the last episode more than just the shipping stuff. It was actually really cool. There was definitely a Power Rangers aspect to it with the entire crystal and being passed down from team to team. It's very much like the Power Rangers. Um, And the fact that they're all named after colors and stuff, it's like, yeah, very much. Um, the actual episode had a kind of almost like a Mad Max feel to it, and I haven't even seen Mad Max, but I've seen various parodies of it. Hell, they did it in Gravity Falls. And it had that same kind of feel to it with the entire chase and battle throughout the wasteland thing. Yeah, it very much felt like that kind of concept. Um, and there was a lot of just really fun moments as well. The character designs for her team, whether with or without the helmets, felt a little generic, um, if I'm being honest, but nothing like bad. But there was a little moment though when the yellow one did have like a little moment at the end, and it gets you to thinking, okay, is maybe there's something there between her and Red Action? It's always possible. Maybe they were a couple in the past. Well, in the future. Complicated. But yeah, you know what I mean. Um, it's a really interesting concept, a really interesting idea. There's a lot that can be built off of this. And I'm really excited to see where they go with this for, well, the future. But yeah, these 3 episodes were all very damn good. I mean, for different reasons. The first one because of its creativity and just the really, really well executed methods that they used. The second episode because of its cuteness factor and its development in depth for Enid. And of course, this third episode for its development in depth for Red Action, as well as just the really, really cool action stuff, and of course, shipping. I mean, I won't deny it. I am a shipper. I am a very, very heavy shipper. I really get into that part of fan culture. So, yeah, I just really thought that these were 3 excellent episodes to really bring us back into OKKO. 3 of the best this series has had, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. Tell me what you thought of these episodes down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,